7-day-a-week sports show in the DMV. From DC News Now, this is Game Night.
Welcome into Game Night. I am Derek Forrest. Full couch tonight. Brandy, Flores, Alex Flum, Jake Rohm, and we've got high school basketball action. And of course, it started here in the district. I'm still dunkless, by the way, as we go into what? The fourth month of the season. So
that's unfortunate.
Last week you missed it. I called it the dunkless district, and that continued.
The party has already begun. It's 30 minutes in. I know the NBA draft's about 30 minutes away, but the draft party here at Capital One Arena is underway.
Tonight, the Washington Commanders are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and the Commanders have the most Latinos on their coaching staff in the entire league. And
Labor Day is now behind us as the Washington Commanders get set for their home opener this Sunday afternoon as they will take on the Arizona Cardinals at 1 p.m.
As you know, the mantra in March Madness is survive and advance. That's exactly what the Terps did today. It was a tough one, but holding on to beat West Virginia 67-65. Hope has returned to the DMV in a form of a new football owner, and you could feel it on Friday at FedEx Field when Josh Harris and his ownership group were officially introduced.
it was not an ideal start to the 2023 season for the Washington Nationals as they dropped game one of 162 to the Atlanta Braves here at Nats Park.
An hour ago, Magic Johnson was speaking to roughly 200 kids, and man, I've got to tell you, he was generous today.
Adam is ready for his next step, taking his talents to overtime elite in Atlanta.
Welcome back into Game Night live from Annapolis. It's the Military Bowl recap show. Again, I'm Derek Forrest, joined alongside Jake Rohm.
The best players in Major League Soccer taking on European powerhouse Arsenal FC. Should be a fun night all around for both sides in this competition.
Ryan had all the confidence in the world and I think was relying on landing that left hook a little bit too much. Ultimately, Tank just outsmarted Garcia in the ring. But let's break it down. First round was sleepy, but things got cracking after that second knockdown. Here you go. Ryan going for that left hook, but he's been practicing this. So Tank, you can see him revving up his left hand to counter. And as soon as he releases, he goes down.
Dan Snyder has reportedly reached an agreement in principle to sell the Washington Commanders.
And we've got live team coverage tonight. Sports director Derek Forrest shows us why this could spark a billionaire bidding war. Jake Rohm is looking at the potential implications for the new ownership group and what to expect from any potential new Commanders owners.
And Alex Flum is live at the Sports and Social Bar in Bethesda talking to fans about today's big news.
Moving parts to this ongoing story, guys, but this is what we do know. This afternoon, Dan Snyder and Josh Harris have agreed in principle for a deal to purchase the Commanders.
So the Nats calling it a season, finishing the year with 71 wins. But honestly, it was still a decent year for Washington. The Nats are well into their rebuild.
Julia Lees is setting records over at Georgetown University. Today, she started in her 90th consecutive soccer match, which is easily a school record and quite possibly a national record.
I was on the ice, and I can tell you I was ready to roll, and I was feeling pretty good to start. All right, I'm feeling good going up and down the ice. Not bad. Hey!
Some people are just falling down.
Oh, that was me. I have so much respect for the people that actually do this.
The Nats and the Orioles have swept in the same weekend, first time in years. So we need to dust this off.
I'm used to this. I have the Orioles brew.
Oh, yeah, I have the Nats brew, so this is new.
He's throwing a party at his house tonight. I don't know the details of this party, and he said earlier in the season he goes to bed early, so I'm not so sure about this party, but maybe it was a metaphorical one.
Look, you don't have to answer this question, but I bet you're going to try to find the party after you get off the air here. I do want to ask you, this was an interesting...
I might. If there's food, yes.
If there's food, of course.
Stadium. But it just makes everybody feel so much closer together and be part of the action.
And Doug, you were telling me earlier that when this whole beer snake started, it was a little bit like of a controversy. Fans were throwing things onto the field, which is not what we want.
I'm the gamer, obviously. I play MLB The Show. But it started last week. They announced Jazz Chisholm, right, who had an outstanding season last year and got hurt. But he's from the Bahamas. And we talk about this inclusion, right? Getting younger minority people involved. He's hip, like he's got the chains, he's flashy, like that's what the game is becoming. Now to add the Negro players, we always talk about seeing people like you participate in something that you enjoy, and that's what they're doing here.
With the 16th pick
MLB draft, the San Francisco Giants select Bryce Eldridge, a two-way player from James Madison High School in Vienna, Virginia.
You can't even describe it. It happened so fast. You know, I get a phone call, tell me we got a possibility. I get a phone call a few minutes later, and they say you're getting picked. So I immediately hung up, went over and told everyone, and that's just the nerves and the anxiety and just being excited. It's just, I can't even put it into words.
I'm here with Heisman Trophy winner, Gonzaga College High School alum, Caleb Williams. Caleb, today you had your jersey retired here. What was that moment like? And to have it at a pep rally, seeing all the students so excited to meet you.
Yeah, it's, if you know anything about Gonzaga, our pep rallies are pretty sweet. And having this pep rally today kind of just brings back a bunch of old memories. And then also having my jersey retired and being up there in the rafters is pretty cool.
Double A here with the Harrisburg Centers and the Nats organization. What was it like when you got that call knowing you're moving another level up here?
Try to get the season pass. Just because there's a new owner. Let's go.
Mark, I know you were a ball boy back in the day, a fan of this tournament. What's it mean here for the fourth time now to be the chairman and to be running this thing? Yeah. All three of you guys are going D1 to very big programs, and I thought it was cool today. We have ACC, Big Ten, SEC over here.
For you, when you first got here to Washington, you were tasked with changing the culture. Now you're here with new ownership. You're getting ready for this season. Do you feel like it's kind of a reset button for you at all, or do you still carry some over the things that you've been doing so far?
Well, I'm going to carry over some of the things that we've been doing, especially with the culture. This new ownership group, one of the things that we talked about was their culture, wanting to develop and grow it based off of what we've done, and it's right in line. So I'm really excited about that. And I think that the thing that we all have to understand is that, you know, there is a way, and I really do believe the process goes through developing and growing your culture first and foremost.
You a big factor of this team. I think you had over close to, or if not over, 200 yards rushing in this game. What can you say about getting the job done in a wintry, weathery mix that we had here in Annapolis?
We knew, just like the adversity thing, we knew the rain was going to be a factor, and we just knew we had to rely on the O-line. So with me just being having those rushing yards, rely on the O-line. They were physical up front, got the job done with the gaps, and then I was just able to break tackles.
Welcome back into game night. Gallaudet University is the only higher education university in the world that is specifically designed to accommodate deaf and hard of hearing students. That makes it no surprise that the school's football team is leveling the playing field. From inside a helmet, the Gallaudet Bison football program is changing the game for deaf and hard of hearing football players.
It's really special, you know, giving the deaf people and hard of hearing kids an opportunity to play the game that they love.
The Bison received an NCAA waiver to wear newly developed 5G helmets designed by AT&T on Saturday, allowing coaches to select plays on an iPad and the play to be displayed on an augmented reality digital screen in their visor.
Honestly, I think it was the first time that I saw our head coach not have to jump up and down to get their players' attention and not having any, miscues or miscommunication. I mean, we're talking about a minuscule percentage of mistakes, and that had a huge impact on the game. I was able to see that folks were able to understand each other communication-wise. Plays were being communicated. He was able to call an audible by pressing an alert button and getting the quarterback's attention, whereas in the past, sometimes we wouldn't be able to catch that audible from the sideline, and that would result in a loss or in a penalty.
Knowing that Gallaudet University, were the first ones to use that technology, I mean, that's just amazing and cool to think that we made history.
For players like team captain and offensive lineman John Scarborough, football is their history, and the future is looking bright.
I'm the third kind of generation of those in my family that played football, and my deaf grandfather was actually part of the North Carolina School for the Deaf state champions in 1960 or 1961. So he was a part of that team, played tight end. And if I'm being honest, the technology that we have, they'd definitely be jealous. And I think at the same time, they'd be glad to know that we have that and appreciate the fact that football is a cherished sport in our family. And everyone really should have that opportunity to experience what it's like playing with these helmets. You know, football is an American sport, and I love being a part of it. And I think that, my family will be proud to see we're just beginning with this helmet technology.
The technology has not been approved yet by the NCAA for full-time use, but the team hopes that will happen in the near future.
What's stopping you from approving this? What's stopping you? We're already at a disadvantage, and the NCAA strongly believes in having, equality or equity in every sport, so why not level the playing field?
A level playing field could go a long way, possibly helping more deaf football players get to higher levels of the sport.
Half of our team played on hearing teams in mainstream schools, and if they had this technology in high school, maybe they could show that they were a better player than they were because they didn't get that fair opportunity.
Because a lot of kids, a lot of deaf kids and hard of hearing kids don't get this opportunity to play sports that they love. So I think with this helmet, that it'll change the game for kids like us.
So Gallaudet got to wear those special helmets on Saturday. Not only that, they came out with the win. And again, thank you to Gallaudet for having me out at practice today.
Well, it's been arguably the best story in sports in the past year. Local basketball player, Oakton, Virginia native Garrett Johnson, and his story on having to fight his way back to the basketball court.
I was 19, finishing up my senior year at Episcopal High School, and I was starting to get like a weird tightness in my leg, so we had to go get an MRI and see what was going on, and found out that I had a large mass in my hip.
Before stepping on the court as a freshman at Princeton, Garrett Johnson had to step away from basketball due to a tumor in his hip.
It was tough for a long time, kind of like wrapping your head around the fact of what you're going through. I remember a lot of times just thinking like why is it me going through this? My life kind of got put on hold for a couple of years. So yeah, it was definitely a process of getting through it and trying to wrap my head around what was going on.
4 surgeries, 9 rounds of chemotherapy, a battle not only with his body, but with his mind, doing everything he could to hopefully one day get back to a healthy life and get back on the basketball court.
I didn't want my life to be over, at that time at 19. So for me, it was all about just staying in the gym and keeping that hope that it was going to get better.
There were many days of doubt, but we never gave up on the promise.
He quickly went from child to man. There were a lot of down times where things didn't work out or there were ancillary issues to procedures and stuff like that. And he picked himself up every single time and started all over again. Training, whatever it took to just keep his mind in that zone of I'm going to play one day.
And that day finally came for Garrett. On November 6th, he started his first ever college basketball game with George Washington in their season opener, scoring a game-high 21 points and 9 rebounds and being named the Atlantic 10 Conference Rookie of the Week.
I mean, it was everything. And I think JJ and I kept looking at each other and just smiling like, it's like a fairy book ending, like it was a horrible tale, and it worked out.
2.5 years of putting his life on pause, 2.5 years of fighting. Now, Garrett Johnson's story stands for more than he could imagine.
For me, I think that the coolest part of it all is just being able to see the messages from people who are going through something similar to what I went through, or something worse, and being able to be some type of inspiration for those people and give them hope, that one day things can get better, no matter how bad your circumstances are at the time.
Well, Garrett Johnson having a great start to his freshman campaign with GW through 4 games. He leads GW in points per game with over 17, rebounds per game with over 8, and field goal percentage, which is at 59%. Incredible story, incredible starts for Garrett Johnson.
16-year-old Marissa Hall has a 4.2 GPA, loves hanging out with her friends, and she's a queen. For the 2nd straight year, the Prince George's County native was crowned Maryland High School Rodeo Queen. She's broken barriers for young girls of color in rodeo and hopes that her story will inspire others to get on their horse.
I was a tiny little girl who was doing gymnastics at the time who wanted to wrestle steers to the ground. And so when I was In first grade, I asked my dad for a horse, and he told me if I get straight A's, I ended up getting straight A's 16 consecutive times, so I ended up getting the blessing of having a horse.
I was going to keep my promise. We were living in D.C. One bedroom, one bath apartment. So you had to make some things happen. And so it took a little while getting in a position to be able to make a residential move and then, of course, get horses.
Do you want me to go run and get her other bit? Or do you want me to do a stop drill first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do a stop low.
Okay. My dad is my coach, so I owe almost everything that I have to him. And one of the things a lot of people ask me is like, how do you like it with your dad as your coach?
Started on the left, then she switched to the right. Then right before the turn, she switched back to the left. I don't know why she's doing that. Look at the second can. Good. Take her past the can deep. Let's bring her back. Much better. Thank you so much.
I think it's a great blessing because at the end of the day, there's no one that knows me better.
Marissa Hall is the first black girl to become a 2-time state rodeo queen in Maryland. And when she goes to competitions across the country representing the state as queen, she stands out.
I do feel like I stand out, but then again, it's always in a good way because I feel like I stand out for the inspiration. But I've never really felt that I was out of place either. The rodeo family, they were so welcome. So if there was ever a time I did feel out of place, I was quickly brought back.
In honor of her accomplishments in rodeo and the barriers she's broken, in 2022, Prince George's County officials made October 24th Marissa Hall Day.
It was an experience for sure, and I was very thankful for our county executive. I do the sport because I love the sport, and I never really brought it into much consideration that there were other people watching me as well. And it really encouraged me to do more and to push myself out of my comfort zone to make sure that other people can have the same opportunities that I've had.
Marissa loves to go fast. Her specialty events are pole bending and barrel racing, difficult events that require a lot of hard work and trust with a horse.
It establishes a sense of perseverance because every horse that you're going to get on is not always going to be a perfect fit. You have to work hard, you have to build that relationship, and you also got to know that when a horse bucks you off, you got to get back on.
As queen, Marissa's role is to promote the awareness of rodeo and push for more opportunities and access for others to participate in Maryland, a job she does not take lightly.
Athletes and sports athletes always have the people that they look up to, and I wanted to be that young little girls of color, or just young girls in general could look up to and say, oh, she did it. She didn't start out in a rodeo family. She doesn't have that generational farm, and she worked hard and she accomplished so much. And I just want to be that inspiration to people that just hard work and faith can get you anywhere you need to go.
No hot water in the showers for these guys. I mean, seriously, what are we doing here? It's just awful all around.
Ooh, bad game. No water for the showers. We thought Dan Snyder was gone, but I think we can still feel the lingering effects. It takes a little bit of time to move on to that Josh Harris era officially. We got a lot more to talk about with the Commanders. Welcome into Game Night. I'm your host, Alex Flum. This year's Commanders season is quickly turning into one to forget for fans and, frankly, the players on the team. But they entered this Sunday 9-point favorites against the 2-win New York Giants. Just got to beat Tommy DeVito. You probably have never even heard of him. In his second NFL start, you would think Sam Howell and the Commanders could pull that off. Good day for the pass rush. David Mayo getting back to take down DeVito. He had 2 sacks. The whole defense had 9, nearly a franchise record, but didn't show up in the scoreboard. Fourth quarter down 14-12. DeVito finds Saquon Barkley. He scores. Giants take a 2-possession lead, 21-12. Commanders down 12 now, still battling. Howell connects with Jahan Dotson for a touchdown. All you people complaining he never scores. He scores again there. Cuts the Giants lead to 5. After a defensive stop, they get another chance. Final minute, ball around midfield, but Howell is picked off by Isaiah Simmons, and all the Commanders can do is watch. He runs the length of the field for a pick 6, painful dagger, insult to injury, the dive into the end zone backwards. Just a crushing loss at home for the Washington Commanders. They lose to the Giants 31-19. Sam Howell, 31 of 45, just over 250. Tosses a touchdown, runs in another, but here's the big thing. 3 interceptions, part of 6 total turnovers for the Commanders. The loss drops the team to 4-7, somehow reaching a new low point. We're going to send things over to FedEx Field now, where Brandy, Flores, and Jake Rohm have the post-game report.
Thanks, Alex. Yep, another disappointing game here at FedEx Field. Washington Commanders obviously coming into this one against the New York Giants. Big favorites, should have won.
Should have absolutely won. Now the Commanders are 0-4 against divisional opponents, losing to the Giants and the Eagles twice this season. And here we are again at FedEx Field once again, where Ron Rivera and Sam Howell are at the podium talking about how disappointed they are because they felt even during the game that they could have come away with the win.
We move the ball, we move the ball, we move the ball, we turn it over. For 2.5 quarters, we shut their run game down and we allow an explosive. That's not consistent. That's inconsistent play. And that's where you get beat. You have to be able to sustain what you've done to sustain success. Good play, good play, good play, then we can't have a major negative play. We can't. And if we do, we're not experienced enough to withstand it.
The most frustrating part is, I think we have a really good football team and we have so much potential in that locker room. And that's the disappointing thing, is that we're not getting the results that we feel like we're definitely capable of. We're definitely not where we thought we'd be. We know we're a better team than what we've shown this year, but we're running out of time.
Yeah, just like Sam Howell said, Jake, they're a good team, but today they shot themselves in the foot one too many times. In fact, 6 times is when they turned the ball over.
Yeah, and Sam Howell having 3 of them, I feel like we put him on too high of a horse this week when we kept talking about, did the Commanders find their franchise quarterback? I think we kind of forgot a little bit. He's still young. He's still really in his first full year here with the Commanders. It was disappointing, the players showing that disappointment in the locker room after the game.
We knew coming into this week they probably one of the best teams in the league at getting the ball out. And we prepared for it, but we just didn't execute taking care of the ball like we should.
I don't know, we just didn't come to play. I don't know what it is about the Giants. We don't come to play when we play them. But I don't know, man. It's tough. It's frustrating.
No matter what performance anybody go out there and do, we trust our guys, and we know, we know next going forward we're gonna pick it up.
So Brandy, obviously offensively not getting the job done. Too many turnovers. Defensively, some good sides, some bad sides with it.
Yeah, we can't talk about the defense as a whole and say they were good or bad, because there was some good parts. At one point, they had 9 sacks today. We thought they were on their way to breaking or setting a new franchise record for most sacks in a game. Meanwhile, the secondary giving up all kinds of plays to the Giants' young quarterback, Tommy DeVito. He was able to drive down on them pretty easily. Obviously, frustrating to have some good and bad parts on defense today. But after the game, the players were blaming it mainly on themselves and their own lack of communication on the field.
We kind of just give up 1 or 2 plays here and there, and they always say explosives leads the points. So you give up 1 or 2 explosives, even if you're playing good, they're going to score some points.
When you look at teams around the league who are consistently successful, they know how to win different types of games. They know how to win ugly games. They know how to win offensive games. They know how to win defensive games, special teams games. So for us, we just have to learn how to win in different ways.
So John Allen, a veteran on this team, talking about the different phases he's seen here in Washington. Something seems to always be missing. They're good on paper, but for some reason they can't put together a winning season. I asked Terry McLaurin the same question, and he said that's not really the coaching staff's fault or anybody else's fault or outside factors this team has faced throughout the years. It's the players having to take accountability within themselves if they want to win some football games.
Yeah, and they're going to have a quick turnaround, get that accountability soon, because they have the Dallas Cowboys on the road on Thanksgiving. But that's going to do for our coverage here at FedEx Field. For Brandy, Flores, I'm Jake Rohm. Alex, we send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Jake and Brandy. Let's take a look at the updated NFC East standings now. Commanders barely holding on to 3rd place. Giants in last still. 2 of their 3 wins this season have come against Washington. Cowboys in 2nd is 7-3 after beating the Panthers Sunday. Eagles just 1 loss this season. They're in 1st and will play the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch on Monday night.
All right, there was a lot of drama Wednesday night in Houston as the Nats were taking on the Houston Astros, and it came down to a play in the bottom of the 9th inning. There was 1 out, and there was a double play. We're going to take a look at the video now, and here is the double play at the end of the game, or the possible double play. Gabriel Ruiz is going to throw it to first. It is off of Jake Myers. They don't call runners interference, and that's going to really upset Davey Martinez. He's going to come out He's going to argue the call, but I'm going to show you why this play is a little bit more difficult to judge than you think. As a batter, especially a right-handed batter, coming out of the batter's box, you have an indirect path to get back into the baseline, as opposed to if you were in the left-handed batter's box, you're already on the baseline. So he already has that going for him. Now he has to get back into the base path, but baseball has a rule. If we take a look here, you're going to see on the outside you have these two lines. Technically, as a runner, you're supposed to be between those two lines or on the inside line in order to be called on the base path. Myers at this point is not, but by the time he gets to the bag, he's back into the base path. So it's discretion. We saw the same thing back in 2019. This is Trey Turner on a similar play. He is going down the base path and he is not between those two lines. He is out of the base path, and that's how it was ruled back in 2019. He's called out. On Wednesday night, Jake Myers was called safe, and that's why Davey Martinez was so upset.
Oh, God.
Two T's in Flintstones.
No, there is
don't
not.
pronounce the first T. I promise you. I promise you.
Beyonce is a big Swiftie.
So therefore he's
I'm a Swiftie in, I guess, in retrospect.
Transitive property?
Sure.
Derek knows that I'm not good at movies. I really haven't seen that many movies. And yet, this is the third time.
Last one. What weekend Superman?
Lactose.
What? Welcome back into Game Night. We've got pop culture trivia in Gaming with Derek today. The answer, though, is pop culture by the numbers, so I'm going to ask you something. A number will be in the answer.
Okay.
All right. I made the first one easy, so you get it. Number of dwarves who lived with Snow White.
7.
7 is correct.
I know, me neither.
It's a quiet.
Smacked it so
quiet.
That's shocking.
Push.
All right.
I thought I had that.
Yeah, that was the key.
Degrees of separation.
6.
6 is correct.
I don't even know what that is.
Me neither.
6 degrees of separation. Never heard of it?
Is that like
oh boy.
wide receiver ones?
Number of rings to rule them all.
5?
Incorrect. Anybody else?
3.
Incorrect. Lord of the Rings, 1 ring to rule them all.
I knew it was from that.
I thought, oh, what is it? What is the guy with the
4 or 5 for Thanos.
Yeah.
6.
We're moving on. Number of hours. Number of hours it usually takes Jack Bauer to save the day.
24.
24 is correct.
Great job.
Speed the DeLorean must go at to travel through time. Brandy.
300 miles an hour.
Incorrect.
88. Oh, 188. Is it 88?
You are incorrect because you went with 188. It is 88.
What? That's tough.
But no, you said 188. Yes, you did.
That's tough.
All right. Number of Spartans led by Leonidas of Sparta.
I don't even know who that is.
300.
What is that from?
The movie 300. All right. Length of Dave Letterman's list.
10.
Yes, his top 10.
This is so bad.
Iconic Michael Jordan jersey number.
23.
23. Number of evil exes Scott Pilgrim must defeat.
I'm gonna go with 9.
Incorrect.
Is there 6?
13.
Is there 7
Both
evil?
of you are incorrect.
It's a 7 evil X's, right?
It is the 7 evil exes. We will give Brandy that, even though you didn't
But I
buzz
didn't
in.
get the other one.
Even though you didn't buzz
I'm
in.
gonna hear about this later.
Jump Street, where Johnny Depp rose to fame.
21.
Correct. You buzzed in before you knew the answer on that one. You were just
No,
taking a guess.
I just did.
But
I
that
just
is
knew there was
correct.
a sequel, 22 Jump Streets.
That is an Alex win.
Oh, man, that's stale.
I should have
We'll have to go to the tape.
No, you're down 1.
No.
No, I'm saying I should have gotten the 88, the DeLorean.
88. You said 188 after. It's funny, you won, but yet still.
Well, he was making fun of me, so I had to pick up something.
All right.